Welcome to the Lovestead.
Hello, welcome back here to Lady Lovestead Reads. My name is Jessica and this is my reading vlog. Yes, reading vlog for the second half of March 2025. If you are new here, I do tend to read some dark and twisted books. So please make sure to check your trigger warnings before you read any of the books that I mention in this video. I don't share triggers in my videos because I do think that they are spoilery, but if you have any concerns about any of the books, I recommend using the app Storygraph. They have great information on triggers. Today is Saturday, March 15th, and I ran some errands earlier. I went to the library and I got some books for April. I'll be filming my groceries are on the way. I'll be filming my April TBR video soon. I'm telling myself it's not even close to being April yet because we still have an entire half of the month to get through. I'm just planning ahead, right? I like to make use of every single minute of my day, but I am very adamant about not rushing through it. Like, I do not want to rush through my life. So I don't like it when time flies. I like it when things move very slowly. Anyway, I got books for April because I have a couple of things planned that I want to do in April. And then when I was watching Nat at Nerdy Nat Reads, her March TBR, she mentioned that March is also March Manga Madness. So we've got March Mystery Madness, which I am full steam ahead on. I am so in the mood for cozy mysteries this month. So I've been reading a lot. I've read one, halfway through a second, have more planned yet to read this month. And then March is also middle grade March. And as I learned in Nerdy Nat's video, it's also March Manga Madness. And I don't know if this has happened before on BookTube or if it's new this year. So I really like reading manga as palate cleansers between books because they're quick to get through. And the manga series that I decided to read, if you watch my last series sampler, which I'll link it to up here, I picked out Black Butler by Yana Taboso, but I haven't read any more since that first one. So I went and got volume 2 and 3. This is about a very rich young orphan who lives on an estate, and his butler isn't an ordinary butler. And this child has ties to the government. And like it's really fun, at least from the first one that I read. So this is volume 2 and volume 3. And hopefully I can get through some of these for March Manga Madness. Let's chat about what I'm currently reading. The book I'm reading with my eyes is Pictures of You by Emma Gray. And this is the Lovestead March buddy read for the month. In this one, there's this couple that gets into a car accident. The husband dies and the wife loses her memory. It is essentially focusing on her journey of getting her memory back, trying to remember what this relationship was like with her husband. Not very far in. I'm 18 pages in, but so far very much enjoying it. Then I have 2 audiobooks going. One is my barn book. One is my hoopla book for at home. My barn book is called A Soft Place to Land by Janae Marks, I believe her name is. Yep. This is a middle grade, so I'm reading it for March middle grade. Not March middle grade madness, middle grade March. It is so cute so far. So it's about this family that their house gets foreclosed on because the father has lost his job. So they move to this apartment complex. And the main character is the older daughter. And her name is Joy. And Joy is really into music. She wants to be a film score composer when she grows up. And so they moved to this apartment complex, and it's a new space. It's uncomfortable. It's not like their house. She's going to a new school, and because of the money issues, she can't take piano lessons anymore, which is like really hurts because that was her dream. And she meets a new friend at this apartment complex, and I can't remember if her name's Noor or Nora. It doesn't say in the description if it's Noor or Nora. She's adorable, and she shows Joy this place in the apartment complex that's off the laundry room, that's like a secret room just for kids, where kids can go and like decompress and de-stress and just have some cozy relaxation time. And so they've like decorated it with all their drawings and Christmas lights, and oh my gosh, it's adorable, just the most precious little nook. And she finds a note written in there from someone in the complex that's really struggling. And so she writes them back and she says, you know, sometimes I really struggle too. And they're going to start this dialogue back and forth. And I am loving this so far. I'm loving it so much. The author is doing such a good job portraying just how difficult the situation is for kids. I think adults don't always realize how majorly impacted kids are by moving. Even if they're still got a roof over their head and all their needs met, moving is a huge deal for a kid. It's really difficult. I moved 17 times before I turned 12. Like, it is difficult. I didn't have any friends because I just figured just gonna move soon anyway. Why bother making friends? And I'm not from a military family. We just moved a lot. And this author is just spot on in the way she's portraying how difficult that is for a young person to adjust to. And her parents are fighting a lot too about money and her dad's job and things like that. And because it's an apartment now, they can overhear all the fights. And so dealing with the stress of wondering like, my parents gonna split up and like what's going on with her family. And then she's an older sister, so she's trying to also take care of her younger sister. And I'm like, our childhoods. Oh, our childhoods. I just am really identifying with what this character is going through and the position that she's in, and how like her dreams are being snatched from her. And so now she's getting this job as a dog walker so that she can pay for her own piano lessons. And like, girl, I understand that so deeply. I started working when I was 10 years old so that I could pay for stuff related to my dreams as well. Like, oh, this book is just hitting me. It's hitting. And it's hitting because this writer is just doing such a wonderful job of portraying exactly what it feels like to be in this position. So I'm loving this book. Absolutely loving this book. The other book that I'm reading on audio, it's my Hoopla book for home. And it is a cozy mystery. As I said, I've been in a major cozy mystery mood. It is Toxic Toffee by Amanda Flower. This is book 4 in the Amish Candy Shop mystery. This one features heavily on bunnies, which made me so happy. So what happens is there's this bunny breeder, and it's around Easter time, and which is like perfect timing because it's like around Easter time right now. And the bunny breeder dies, and it turns out to be foul play. So, of course, you know, the, what's her name? Bailey is on the case, even though she is not a private detective. She's a candy maker, but she is on the case. And I am, how far through that one? About 35% through that one. So that's what I'm reading today. I'm having a friend come over, and we're going to make a corned beef and cabbage to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, even though it's not till Monday. We're celebrating today. Hi, it is Wednesday, March 19th. We're going no makeup today because I'm getting a massage after work, currently on my lunch break. I have not been up to a whole lot. We've been getting some really wacky weather. Like it was 80 degrees and then it dropped down to 30 degrees and then back up to 75, and then it snowed, and it's just been all over the place. And weather like that can really trigger some chronic pain and other issues for me. So I've just been kind of hanging low, doing my usual chores. I've been watching The Good Witch with my Discord members. I think I'm up to episode 7, enjoying that. I've also been watching Charmed, a rewatch of it, the original Charmed, and very much enjoying that. Usually when I watch Charmed, my favorite character is Piper, but this time around, Phoebe is really growing on me. Yeah, outside of that, I really haven't done much. Like, I ran errands and went to the library, you know, because I haven't felt very good. I think going to try to do some things this weekend, like my friend is throwing a baby shower. We'll just see. It's been fairly quiet just because weather and pain. And I also am still waiting on my claim for my car repairs. It's been over a month because I got rear-ended back in February. And it's not like a big deal. It's all cosmetic damage to my back bumper of my vehicle, but I haven't wanted to like drive or do a whole lot because, like, what if I get hit again and then it's just going to complicate the original claim? You know, I'd like to get it taken care of. So that's just kind of what I've been doing. I have been reading. So I finished a couple audiobooks. I finished A Soft Place to Land by Janae Marks, and I really liked that book. I think it's an excellent book for kiddos who have moved and are maybe adjusting to some big life changes. I thought it was adorable. I loved the characters. I thought their friendships were so cute. They learned some important life lessons. The dog is okay. If you read this, the dog is okay. And I gave it 4.5 stars. I thought it was wonderful. And then I also finished Toxic Toffee by Amanda Flower, which is book 4 in the Amish Candy Shop Cozy Mystery series. It was good. I really liked all the bunny content. Fun bunny content. Because the person who gets murdered in this is a bunny breeder. Amanda Flower makes a point to point out how Amish usually just see animals as livestock, and once they use them up for their purpose, they kind of don't really care much about them. And this bunny breeder is actually quite unique because he loves the bunnies and they are his pets instead of a tool or a resource, and I love that. I've seen horses that have come from Amish communities. And she's absolutely right. And that is how they approach animals a lot of the time. I don't know for sure if it's every community does it that way, but yeah, it can be bad sometimes. It can be really bad. I appreciate that Amanda Flower is willing to be accurate about the strengths and weaknesses of the Amish community and doesn't just sugarcoat things or ignore some parts of the culture that are problematic. And every culture has problematic issues, right? The Amish are not unique to any other culture in the world, in that there are really wonderful things, and then there's some really challenging, problematic things too, and practices and whatnot. And Amanda Flower doesn't shy away from pointing out those problems, and I can appreciate that. And she does it in a way that's sensitive. I mean, she doesn't like demonize anybody or anything like that. She just kind of points to, yeah, this is an issue that people struggle with. For this book, I felt like it was a little bit more mystery driven than cozy driven. The cozy parts did have to do with bunnies though. I just love bunnies. Obviously I have some, but I like that. I like a cozy that features bunnies, and just since I adopted bunnies myself, I've seen more and more books feature bunnies, and that's been really fun. Anyway, I gave it 3.5 stars. And then the next books. So my hoopla with my library is a little high stakes right now because we've been hitting what's called a collective borrowing limit. And a collective borrowing limit is when they have a specific daily limit of checkouts for everyone in the library. Not your individual amount. Like I get 4 a month. This isn't that. This is the library as a whole can offer, let's say, 500 checkouts. Once people have checked out 500 items on Hoopla, it gets shut down, locked out. You can't check out anything else. So I've been running into this thing where I couldn't check out another book because of the collective borrowing limit. And it says, you know, it'll reset at midnight and you can check things out. So the other night I was up here at midnight, like waiting for the clock to strike 1 so I could hit check out and see if I could get it. Like, it feels like the library Hunger Games a little bit, but this is why libraries need funding. And anyway, I was able to check out my next Hoopla book, which is the book I read at home when I'm doing chores. And I picked out book 2 of the Canine Casper Cozy Mystery series, which is set at a bed and breakfast. And the owner of the bed and breakfast, she has her late auntie's dog, and her late auntie's dog can sense ghosts. So she's getting hired to go on like these ghost hunts. So let me see. It says Marie Fortune, a successful dog groomer. Also, she's 39, which is nice. I like a middle-aged character quite a bit. So she was a successful dog groomer in Boston. She leaves the life behind and heads to a small town in coastal Maine, renovates an old historic house her great aunt left her, giving it a new life as a B&B. Her dog, or her great aunt, also left her a dog, and he's far from a typical dog because he can sense ghosts. So other people have heard of her ability to expel ghosts, and she finds herself in demand for her services from neighboring town. Seems there are many B&Bs that need to have their ghosts cleansed. With her B&B failing, Marie, her trusted dog as a sidekick, has nothing to lose. When she arrives at her first client and someone unexpectedly dies, Marie realizes she may be in for more than she bargained for. Once again, she may have to solve the crime to save her own future. That's the premise of book 2. I really liked book 1 in this series. A Soft Place to Land was my first book that I read for middle grade March, and then the next book I'm picking up for my barn book is also a middle grade. It is a middle grade historical mystery called The Bletchley Riddle by Ruta Sepetys and Steve Sheinkin. I will read you the description. It says, summer 1940, 19-year-old Jacob Novus and his quirky younger sister Lizzie share a love of riddles and puzzles, and now they're living inside of one. The quarrelsome siblings find themselves amidst one of the greatest secrets of World War II, Britain's eccentric code-breaking factory at Bletchley Park. As Jacob joins Bletchley's top minds to crack the Nazis' Enigma cipher, 14-year-old Lizzie embarks on a mission to solve the mysterious disappearance of their mother. That's the premise. It sounds like this is kind of bridging middle grade and young adult. And it also is reminding me of the middle grade nonfiction I read last year about code breaking. So I'm glad that I read that. So now I have a good foundation for reading this. So that would be my next book for middle grade May. I am still making progress. Where'd it go? I think it's in the other room. But I'm making progress on Pictures of You. Here's a dust jacket. Making progress on this one. I'm 80 pages in, and I'm starting to really get invested in the story. It's going well. And then I also finished this big book that I've been working on for like over a year. It's a nonfiction, and I've just been reading like a page or two a day. It's got 900 and some pages. It's called The Complete Tightwad Gazette by Amy Decision. And this is a compilation of a series of newsletters that Amy wrote in the 90s about how to live frugally. So it's packed full of info. But the issue with it is that it's extremely outdated. There's a lot of stuff in here that just is no longer relevant because it doesn't even exist anymore, like Blockbuster, right? Rather than spending your money on this book, just go read blog posts on saving money and living a frugal life. They're more up to date. You don't have to pay for it. This book is not a cheap book, ironically, because it's out of print. I don't know. I mean, I think I'll keep it because what this does for me is it puts me in the right mindset for living a frugal life. And maybe if there's like a particular thing I'm looking for to be frugal on, I can like look at the index here and see if this book has any advice on it. But overall, it's not a book that I recommend. And I gave it 3 stars. Poor Maggie is so scruffy. The groomer can't get her in until the 31st. So she's got a couple more weeks to go before she gets her hair cut. She's so scruffy. Yeah, she's my shaggy Maggie right now. Oh my goodness. So tonight I'm going to repot my orchid, Dinah's orchid. It usually blooms around February every year. It did not bloom this year. It needs repotted. It needs some TLC. So I'm going to repot that tonight. This is my ZZ plant and it has several new growths. So like that's one, that's one, that's one. All kinds of new growth sprouting. And I need to repot this one as well. But I think I'm going to wait and do it until after these new shoots are fully grown. And then Buttershaw had bit a piece of my night blooming orchid, which is Pie's memorial plant, and he broke it off right here. And so I stuck the leaf that broke, just stuck it into the soil. And it has new growth, which is exciting. So it's not going to go to waste. I'm actually going to get like a second shoot of the plant by popping it in soil right away. And it also has lovely new growth up here. She's doing excellent. And then my Monstera has sprouted something from the stem, which is really unusual because from what I know of Monstera, they usually grow new leaves from the last new leaf they vine, right? But I'm getting that here, which is from the stem, which is weird. And then there's another one there. So if you are familiar with Monstera deliciosa, tell me what's going on. I've never seen this before. Is this common? I did recently repot her. So I don't know if that's triggering some sort of change, but it's got a nice thick stem. And if I rotate it a bit, like the newer leaves are back there. I try to rotate it so that it vines around the moss pole. So the leaves are back there for now so that they curve this direction to get to the sun. It's a whole thing. But oh my gosh, look, there's that too. Oh, what is happening? I didn't know that they could grow from the stems. My mind is blown. So I'm soaking some sphagnum moss in dechlorinated water, and I dechlorinated the water with the same dechlorinators that I use in my fish tanks because orchids do not like the chlorine and chloramines in tap water. So once this gets fully soaked, I've got my pot that I'm going to be putting her in. So once the moss is fully soaked, I'm going to put it in this pot. It will go in here.
That's her new house. And then I'm going to soak her for a while. And I'll trim off any like dead roots and stuff. And then put her in her new house. It feels so gross. If you're a texture person, you will not like this. I know she's still alive because she has some green roots. So she'll be okay. Trying to get her really good and dunked in that water. Let her soak for a bit. So I was able to really kind of loosen up a lot of that root ball that's in there. She's got some gorgeous green roots still that just got really packed in. So she definitely is due for a larger container. So this will be really good for her. All right. So let's just start putting her in her new pot. There she is, all repotted, ready to go back home and sit in the sunshine.
Hello. It is Tuesday. I forgot what day it was. It's Tuesday, March 25th. March has been marching here in this second half of March. I'm having a bit of time poverty and time pressure lately. So I haven't been able to really do the things that I want to do. But I did go to my friend's baby shower because that was important. And I met some lovely people, enjoyed brunch. And aside from that, that's really all like the personal stuff that I have to share with you. That's about it. I am otherwise just kind of grinding right now. And what else has been going on? Really nothing. Nothing. I was going to go to the Iowa Horse Fair this weekend and it didn't work out because my rental car fell through. Mercury retrograde, man. Reading updates. I cannot remember what I last updated you on, but I did read a middle grade called The Bletchley Riddle by Ruta, Sepetys, and Daniel Sheinkin. And really enjoyed this. This is set during World War II and it focuses on the Enigma code breakers. Fabulous. I loved the characters. I learned so much. It was so interesting. Turing is in this. He's featured a lot in this. And he seems like such an interesting human. I don't know that much about Turing, who was an Enigma code breaker, but I know that he was absolutely pivotal in the work that they did. And based on what happened in this story, he just seems like such a character. But yeah, the main characters, the brother and sister duo in this, were really fun characters, especially Lizzie. She was so spunky and brave. I just loved her. I really liked this book, and I will definitely read more from both of these authors. Ruta Sepetys has some other historical fiction that my library has on audio that I'll probably pick up. And it has put me in kind of a historical fiction mood. And so I found some historicals on KU that I might give a try. But tell me down below, what are some of your favorite historical fiction books? And they can be, I really don't like super ancient history. Like, try not to go further back than the 1920s. Because that just flies over my head and my eyes roll back and I fall asleep. It just does not interest me to learn about in general, and yeah. But yeah, any recommendations you have on historical fiction from like the 1920s on forward, I will definitely take a look at any of your recommendations. It's just a genre I have not loved, and I'm only beginning to kind of get into it and to test out some different like time periods and things like that. I really do like stories about the 1970s. That's really working for me. And this one about World War II worked well. Sometimes I struggle with World War II because it gives me really bad nightmares reading about things that happened in World War II. But I might tiptoe and try some other things. We will see. And then the next book that I picked up on audio is a thriller, a little palate cleanser called The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. And I started this last night and I'm very much enjoying it. So far what it's about is this rich woman who's super new agey. You know, she like believes in charging her crystals and energies and chakras and all that stuff. She buys this estate and turns it into like kind of a hotel spa in retreat sort of a place for people of a certain clientele to rest and relax and recharge. But they're having trouble with some people in the local community that are upset that they bought that land and built the retreat there. They want to buy out some of the local farmers as well because they don't like the smell that drifts into the retreat from the farms and things like that. And something happens, and I'm not going to spoil it, but something happens on the night of the summer solstice. And that's all I know for sure so far. I'm only 18% of the way in, but I'm intrigued and really enjoying how Lucy Foley has set up these characters and set up the setting of this. And otherwise, I'm still reading Pictures of You by Emma Gray. I haven't finished it yet, but I will probably finish it tonight. And after I finish it, I will start Oathbound. Sorry, I'm kind of low energy. I've had a migraine, so the brain fog is fogging. So this feels kind of rambly and incoherent as I'm talking to you. But maybe when I edit it, it will be somewhat organized.
Maggie got groomed yesterday. Doesn't she look so beautiful? She got a little hanky from the groomer. Yeah, she looks so pretty. Maggie. Oh, hello, Oliver. Hi, buddy.